I want to start this video with a little test. I have some important news for you. The BBC has asked me to choose one person to do an interview for them, celebrating the person's life, and I have decided to interview you. Yes, you. What's your reaction? The first would be, oh, hell no. What the hell would I talk about? I'm a loser. The second would be, well, I have a tendency to freeze on camera, so I rather pass this one, but consider me for radio if that ever comes up. Or the third one would be, do you say, sure, I would love to know more. If you said the first one, this video is absolutely important for you and might help change some perspectives about yourself. It says that your usual reaction to great opportunities in life is, well, I'm just a dash. I have met people working in few of the world's best companies, running awesome businesses and handling 15 in-laws relatives in a tiny home. And yet, they have the same reaction of fright and holding back, saying, well, I'm just And very few of those people I have met personally respond with the last line, saying, hey, I would love to know more and I'd love to participate. These are actually the people with self-confidence and a sense of self-worth. They have been mindful of their success and failures and would be happy to share their lessons with the world. Most of us have a very low sense of self-worth. I know people with the greatest of jobs and tons of money and assets in their bank accounts, yet they have zero self-love simply because they have zero self-worth or self-esteem. Now, how can you love yourself when you don't even know yourself? Do you know yourself? If I ask you to describe yourself to me as if we're meeting for the first time, what words do you choose? Just pause the video for a few seconds and take some time to think about it and then continue. Well, I hope you haven't cheated and you have done what I asked you to do. Now let's evaluate and see if you have used your job title, your relationship status, your religion, your gender, or something like that as an adjective. For example, did you say, I am a manager working so-and-so in so-and-so company? Did you say, I'm a single woman? I am a Muslim married person? I am a man living in this city? Well, your self-identity is coming from social groups, which to an extent is fine, but this doesn't really tell us who you are. Let me ask again, who are you? I see myself as a tiny person in this massive universe who got an opportunity to be alive. I'm a human, but like a constantly flowing river because I change my thoughts as I learn from life. I'm someone who has seen a shit ton of failure, painful experiences, and even currently, right now, my life is far from perfect. But I do have a sense of self-worth. For a long time, I didn't. I judged myself through the eyes of others. When I was in school, my parents had this thing about getting the highest grade in class. I always came second or third or fourth, but never first, and my parents were not happy about this. And this isn't just an Asian stereotype, this really happened. So as I grew up, this continued, and I started to feel like if I don't top my class, I'm worthless. At times it helped, but most of the time, this was a negative motivation because we all are unique, and despite pushing hard, there's only so much I could do. Sadly, this continued after school to the college and to the rat race in this generation of MBAs. In my early and mid-20s, I felt awful about myself, while my friends saw me as this lucky girl who got to travel abroad for studies, I saw myself as a total fraud because I wasn't where my parents would have wanted to see me. Everything I was doing so I could make them proud of me. And in this blind race, I was so stressed. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism due to chronic stress. Now, some more events happened apart from that diagnosis in 2012 when I slowly began to see this rat race for what it really is and started discovering feminism, and that restored my faith in my own identity. I started to write, not to make money, not to get fame and name, but simply because that was part of my identity. Writing felt natural as I did it since I was 6. Soon my books were published, and last year I started writing for the Huffington Post as well, apart from the Telegraph UK, which are both some of the world's largest media houses. Growing up, we get all these messages from families, school, and the society overall about being the perfect something, the perfect wife, the perfect husband, the perfect business person, the perfect celebrity. But honestly speaking, I found that this is an absolutely ridiculous hypothesis for life, because life cannot remain at one state the whole time. If it did, we would be dead. The meaning of ups and downs is life. A flat line actually signifies death, doesn't it? As humans, when our life is on the high side, we easily take things for granted. And when our life is on the lower side, we fix our sense of self-worth there and see ourselves as insignificant, meaningless, and worthless people. We may have a lot of pride and ego, but those are extremely different from what I am talking about. Being vain, boastful, braggy is not having self-worth. It's called overconfidence. And actually, having a sense of self-worth is when you do not need to prove to anyone that you are something. We have this weird notion of chasing jobs and money and beauty. I've heard from people I know, when they succeed, they aren't happy for themselves, but they say, "See, now I can rub my success in my husband's face and show him who I am." And then I think, that's fine, but if you need to accomplish things to prove your worth to someone, this means the lowest worth you have is for yourself, for being with that kind of husband and giving him enough importance to prove your worth to him. Similarly, from guys I hear things like, "I want my wife to stay home and cook and make me feel like a man." Well, I'm sure your wife is not stopping you from feeling like a man, but if your sense of manhood is so fragile that your wife working outside and meeting new people crumbles your manliness, then maybe you should be working on your crumbling manhood instead of asking your wife to dump her talents down so you can feel manly. Before I come to the end part, I'll ask one last question. Do you ever say to yourself any of these things? Let me get this job, then I will show my family and friends who I am. Let me collect $1 million or some kind of money, then I will be happy and feel accomplished. Or, the day I marry that beautiful woman, I will show her off to my friends and make them jealous. Or, all my friends are married. I need to find a rich, handsome guy as soon as possible because, hey, how would I face my friends now? If you tell yourself those things, I have bad news for you. You will never be happy because the things you are chasing are superficial and reek of low self-esteem. To love who you are, there are just 2 rules. Rule number 1, accept who you are at the moment and recognize the true worth of being you, seeing your true identity. And rule number 2, know within your heart that you are imperfect, but you will spend your life learning to be a better human being. That's all for this video, friends. In the next one, I'll be talking about how to love the way you look.